Toni. One sec. Yes. Hi everyone, welcome to It Doesn't Happen Overnight. I'm your host, 𝐒𝐄𝐑𝐄, and I'm here today with MacLaine Farrell.
Hello.
On this podcast, as always, we love to bring on someone who is young and just following their dreams and jumpstarting their career. So today, why don't we have MacLaine tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, so hello everyone. I am MacLaine and I am 22 years old, 23 actually. I'm 23 years old. I was born and raised in Binghamton, New York, which is upstate New York. It is just a cold place. And basically, I went to the University of Alabama, and I graduated in May of 2018. And then I moved back home to my dad's house, and I kind of just was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And that is when I came up with the idea to start an online boutique. So I worked on that, and I opened it December 2018. And I was working for a couple months getting it off the ground, and then my goal was to move to Los Angeles, and so that is what I did in October of 2019. And here I am now, just running it out of my apartment, and it's kind of just a one-man show, but it's going really well.
So how did you get the idea to start an online boutique?
So it's actually funny. So when I was at Alabama, I was in a sorority, and there was a couple girls who, when I was graduating, like in the last couple of weeks of school, they randomly, like two girls that were pretty unrelated, they just randomly were like, you should start an online boutique. Because throughout college, I was like, I don't know, I've always been into fashion, and I feel like people kind of like associated me with fashion. And I was always into like, I don't know, like Instagram influencing and stuff. So as I was like in college, I grew a following. I was kind of like promoting other brands, and then when it came time to like figure out what I wanted to do and people were suggesting that I start my own online boutique, I like never imagined that would be like a thing that I would do, and I never imagined that I would even own my own business. But then like the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it was like the kind of like the perfect thing for me to do. Because if like I was promoting these other brands and they were telling me that like it was successful and that people were shopping the things that I was promoting,
like,
why wouldn't I start my own and promote my own stuff? So that's
so it's not you like creating clothes and like designing them.
Right, yeah. A lot of people get confused.
Yeah.
Like people will message me and be like, I love your designs, and I'm like, I wish I created this stuff. Like I have never really been one to like, I'm not like artistic really. I don't like draw. I don't feel like I could like close my eyes and like draw some beautiful thing, like a beautiful dress, or like, I don't know, stuff like that doesn't really pop into my head. I feel like I'm more into like the styling aspects and like putting outfits together.
So you'll get clothes from different vendors and put them on your site.
Yeah, I actually just go down right now. It's really convenient that I moved to Los Angeles because the fashion district in downtown Los Angeles is where I get everything. So I just go down. I go down like a couple times a week, and I just look through all these different showrooms. There's like thousands of them, and I'm not even kidding. There's got to be like at least 1,000. And I only shop from like 10 of them, just from like personal preference and like trial and error type thing. But I just kind of like go into the showrooms every week. I pick out things that like I like and that I know I would wear, and I just bring them home and I put them on a rack. I steam them and I take pictures in them, and I kind of just market them and like decide when I'm going to release what. So it's really fun.
So like I kind of know because little known fact, am a part-time employee. Disclaimer as my biases. Is I actually work at Vyvacious when MacLaine is out of town, so I know, but for everyone listening and watching, what does an average like week as both an owner of Vyvacious but also like a small business owner in general, because it's you. There's nothing will get done that you're not doing.
Right. Like there's literally I know that a lot of people think that like I either drop ship where like I'm not sending out the packages, or people like, I don't know, people pick out the clothes. There's people don't know that I literally am behind every single aspect of it. I like created the website, and I obviously pick out the clothes. I market everything, and I do all the customer service. So I really do like obviously run every aspect of it. But I feel like that's almost easier for me because the thought of like bringing somebody in and having to like, I feel like, I don't know, it's like your baby. When you have a business or like anything, you just don't really want to like let anyone intervene, so you can just do everything yourself. But a day in the life for me is kind of like, well, since I've moved to Los Angeles, it's definitely been different because before I was just ordering the clothing and getting it shipped to me, but now I go and pick it out myself. So usually once or twice a week, I'll drive down to downtown and obviously pick out my inventory. I usually get around like 12 items to release a week. So I'll release 6 things every Wednesday and 6 things every Friday. And once I have the clothing, I spend a lot of time at home in my apartment because I just rent it out of my living room. So I just have this big clothing rack. And most of the time I'm in sweatpants and like looking the worst and just like the least glamorous thing ever, but
because you're putting in work. Like, it's like people see the curated version on Instagram on your website, but it's like the literal taking every clothing down, wrapping it, putting it in the package, printing out labels. So many little things to do. But for me, when I wake up, if I have a lot of orders, I'll usually knock those out, do my orders. And that's honestly my favorite part, is because it's like, I worked so hard to like pick the clothing out, prepare it, market it, like hope people buy it. So when I'm doing my orders, I'm like packaging them up and like getting rid of inventory, because like her apartment is actually a half clothing store. You walk in and it looks like you're in a clothing store. It really is. It's more of it's more of an office than I just use the bedroom to sleep pretty much. But other than that, I don't really hang out on my couches. Like, I really just use the living room as an office space, which was always my plan. So I love it. Like, I feel like it almost was like meant to be the perfect spot for me to run Vyvacious. But yes, so basically it's from like the second I wake up, I'm on my phone, like answering DMs or posting. And because I started Vyvacious in New York, that's obviously Eastern Standard Time. So I'm kind of used to like releasing stuff at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I didn't want to like change up the like thing that I've branded. So I still release it at that time. And by release, you mean like on your website?
Right. Yeah. So I release stuff every Wednesday and Friday, and they go up onto the website at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So every week I'm kind of just like waiting for that Wednesday drop. So the night before I release stuff, I do sneak peeks, and I go on my Instagram story, and I basically stand in a mirror. I have this little like pretty backdrop area that I take all my content like pictures at, and I just like kind of like break down what I'm releasing that next day, so that people have like almost 24 hours to like ask me questions, like get more videos or pictures or see how a different size looks on me. And I just like people to like be confident that when they're like buying something, that they know exactly what they're getting and like they don't have any doubts about it.
I got these pants.
Yes, these are Vyvacious pants. This is a Vyvacious set. I'm like pretty much constantly wearing Vyvacious, which is a great thing. But
I feel like your business, one of the coolest parts about it is like you're constantly interacting with people.
Oh yeah.
Like from a customer standpoint, but also from like an advice standpoint of like this fits smaller, so I would get this size. And just like also being the customer service aspect of your business too, because it's everything.
I think that like Vyvacious is definitely different from like I don't even know any other brand, and I'm not even just saying this. I don't know any other like online boutique or bigger brand or anything that like literally is constantly chatting. Like, I think I answer DMs that come through within like a minute or less. And it's to the point where like girls will ask me completely unrelated questions about like anything. They'll be like, what should I wear to like this? Or jewelry recommendations, literally anything. And it's kind of funny because people will DM me and be like, will this fit me? And like, that's all they'll say. And I'm like, I don't even know what you look like.
I don't know, will it?
So it's really funny though, because I feel like people kind of like have the idea that when you're like DMing with somebody that you like know them. But like a lot of the times I'm answering like 8 DMs in like 2 minutes.
Well, I feel like that is a testament to how personable you are.
Right,
and like the fact that it is something that people can get fast responses from, so it's easy for them to feel like they know you and like whatever. And that's good for the brand because I mean, it's nice to have a customer interaction that doesn't feel so transactional. And it's actually like a style consultant where you can help them with jewelry and shoes and like what would look good with it, and then they feel confident that they have like a well-curated outfit too.
It's so, honestly, it's so much fun, and I feel like it gives people the like feeling that they, I don't know, like went through me. They didn't go through just like a company or who, they don't know who they're talking to. Like everyone knows that it's me behind the phone and stuff like that. But it's definitely a very like personable situation, and I've honestly created like not friendships, but I recognize like so many names, and there's so many girls that like I know who they are, and there's so many girls who like will order every week, and it's really great. It's just so crazy what can happen like through social media.
Yeah, so what has like one of the highlights of this whole thing been for you? Because it's been exactly over a year, right? Like a year and a couple months.
Yeah, so December 2018 I opened, and then obviously it's been so like a year and like 4 months.
Yeah, so what is like one of the highlights? I mean, it's grown so much in that time.
I mean, I never, like my goal was obviously to just like grow, and my goal still is to grow it as big as it can possibly get. And there's obviously no like cap on how big it can grow. But for me, throughout college, like I knew I wanted to do something with like digital marketing is pretty much what I went for, but I really didn't want to work like a desk job. I just didn't really want to be in an office, and I feel like I definitely have like a very like outgoing personality where, I don't know, I just really didn't know what I wanted to do, but it kind of just fell into place. But I would say that the high is that it all just fell together, and like I didn't even know I had like entrepreneurship like in me, but the fact that I just get to like wake up and be like completely on my own schedule, like no one's ever really like telling me what to do. It definitely like I have to like hold myself accountable, but for me like the freedom is just like I every single day, seriously, I'm like, I can't believe this is my life. Like I can't believe I just have this like free time. Like it's really amazing, and just like going for it, because I really didn't know if it was going to work, and it definitely took a few months to like get it off the ground. And there was a bunch of times where I was like, this is not working, and I'm never going to be able to live off of this and whatnot. But obviously I just kind of kept going, and now I'm like completely living off of it, and it's so amazing. So basically the freedom, I would say, is just the best part for me.
I like how you said you didn't know you had entrepreneurship in you, because I feel like that is what stops a lot of people, because they kind of see these people running their own businesses, doing their own things, and they think, oh, I could never, like, I don't have that in me. And you don't know if you have it in you or not until you just go for it. And
it's so crazy.
Not go for it halfway, go for it 100% of the way, and really see if you have what it takes to steer the ship. Because not everyone does, but it's like, you will never know if you don't get on board first.
It's so true. I don't know, like in college, I don't feel like the thought of starting a business sounds like you need to know like all this stuff about finance and like laws. Like it just seems like to start a business, you have to have all this like legal stuff to know about. And I mean, like girls DM me all the time, and they're like, how did you start your online boutique? And like, what should I know if I want to start an online boutique? And it sort of like, it bothers me when I get that question, because when like how I figured things out was just by Googling, and it doesn't take much. It more just takes like you like putting your time and effort into it. But everything that I learned, like how to start it, was all just through like YouTube videos and Googling what to do.
Well, it's also like how I feel, even if I scale it down to like when I'm editing, I would rather be watching YouTube videos to edit as I'm editing a video and then learning it as I'm doing it than like watch a video and then try to go do it, because you're not going to actually take the lessons that you learned and apply it yourself and then like internalize it. So it's like you need to figure out the questions that you need to ask and answer those questions as you go, versus like trying to get a really large plan in the beginning, and then you're still going to miss a bunch of stuff, because until you do, that's when you start to say, oh, I need to look into taxes and like what taxes look like.
I remember like right before I opened up, I was like so nervous, because I was like, I feel like there's a lot, not like a lot, but I was like, there's definitely a lot of things that I haven't thought of, and like what's going to happen when those like bumps in the road kind of come about. And then, but that's like what you're saying is like the whole point is that you don't like, you can't really plan ahead that
for
much.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to just wait for things to happen, and then you deal with it as it comes.
I heard this from one of our other guests. Her name is Greta Meyer, and she is a CEO of Tempo, which is a brand that is starting a new tampon. And she was like, if I had known everything that I needed to know before I started this, I wouldn't have done it.
It's too much.
Like,
it's easier. The less you know, the better.
Literally just going for it and like figuring out as you go, because then you start to accumulate so many skills you didn't even know you had.
Totally.
And I feel like that's just so rewarding as like a lifelong learner, because it's like, I didn't really want to learn in a 9-to-5 because I wasn't sure what it was going to look like. But now you have this freedom where every day you get to learn what makes sense for your business, your growth, your brand. And like, I feel like that's really rewarding fast.
Super, super rewarding. And just the fact that like no story is like any others, no matter what. Like things that work for me won't work for other brands, and like things that don't work for me might work for other brands. So that's definitely something that I've learned, that because it's easy to like, especially on social media, there's thousands of like other online boutiques, and I try not to like look at many others, but it's really easy to like obviously stumble upon them and stuff. And there's definitely been times where I'm like, oh, like they're doing this, like I should be doing that, or like I see myself doing like something where then I'll see someone else do it, and I'm like, I don't think that's really like, I mean, I obviously came up with this due to like what I've learned along the way. And you can't really just like that. I feel like that applies to anything, really. You can't really jack anyone's like style, because
it also doesn't work. It doesn't work as well because you made it creating with the components that you have from your business, and it's like someone could try to steal it, but there's no way they have the same thing, or else you guys probably wouldn't both be
exactly like what would the fun of it be if everyone's doing
the same thing, because then that takes out variety. So I guess like on the inverse of the highlight, what has the hardest part of this experience been?
Jeez, honestly, there has not been many cons. I guess, okay, this is definitely like a con. So, but this is also with any business.
Yeah.
There are definitely lows of like, sometimes my business will be like Vyvacious will just thrive in certain months or like certain weeks, and I feel like I'm on top of the world, invincible. But then there's like weeks where it's just really slow, and I feel like there's definitely times where like people aren't shopping much, or after Christmas everyone's kind of like not trying to shop anymore. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely been times where it'll get really slow, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm losing everyone's attention, like people aren't shopping anymore, like people are never going to shop again. Like I just feel like when it's low, it's never going to go back up, but it always does. So by now, I feel like since I'm like over a year into it, when it does get slow, like I really am good at like talking myself through it, and like I'll talk to my family or my boyfriend and just be like, oh my gosh, like things are really slow, but like I know it's going to pick back up. And that definitely gets me through it, but it definitely can take a toll, especially when you're like living off of yourself financially. Like, when
so you're financially independent from this business.
Totally, completely. Like, I have no other incomes other than Vyvacious, which is really amazing.
But also scary because you have no other incomes other than Vyvacious.
Especially like at 23, like that's definitely crazy to like live off of something you started kind of just off of a whim. But that's definitely one of the lows, is just the times when it's slow, like feeling like it's really never going to pick back up. But thanks to my loyal customers, they always come back. And I just put it into perspective that like, I'm like, well, I'm not shopping right now. So like, why would anyone else be? It makes sense. All businesses have the highs and the lows and like the slow seasons. So
I feel like also because you've done it for a year now, you kind of know those patterns of the year when that happens.
It's like just
after
now
Christmas,
starting to overlap. Where like this is my first my second March, and whereas before it was like the first month was just the unknown. It was fun the first year. In the beginning I didn't really have any like goals to hit because I was just hoping for like anything I could. Yeah. But now I definitely have goals, and it's nice to like look back on like a month ago or this time like last year and compare. And it's only been growing, so that's great.
Where do you see, speaking of goals, because that's my next question anyway, where do you see this going? Or like what is kind of your hope for Vyvacious in 1 year, 5 years, etc.?
I mean, I feel like, so people do ask me this obviously a lot, and a question that I get really often is if my goal is to like eventually open up a storefront, and that would be really awesome and fun, more for the like fun of just being able to like decorate a store and like have people in and out. But that's really never a goal unless it's like really, really far down the line. That's something that I'm not really working towards. But
for what reason?
Well, mainly because I think e-commerce is like a really, really, I mean, I know e-commerce is a really valuable thing, and like I could potentially be working a full-time job and doing Vyvacious on the side strictly because of the fact that it's all like on a computer screen. I could work throughout the night. Like no one really knows when everything's going on. Yeah. So for a storefront, it just seems like there's like a lot more overhead, like paying employees, paying rent for like a space, and just so much more obviously just goes into it. So that is kind of more of a reason why I would just steer clear of that, because it's working well for me. And like,
you have people all over the world who get to buy from you without like, having to need a local store. Don't break
what's not broken. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think that e-commerce is just going to continue to grow, and people love that you can just order something and it's at your doorstep, and like you don't really have to lift a finger. But back to my goals is probably to start like more online businesses, and obviously just continue to grow Vyvacious. I get a lot of questions if I'm gonna have a guy-vacious, where it's like men's clothing. So that would be like an awesome thing to start. But yeah, I feel like just kind of like starting more online brands. Now that I kind of have it down, like what I need to do, like logistically, it'd be like probably easier for me to just start like a jewelry thing, or like I've even thought about like candles or something. I don't want to give away all my secrets.
Yeah, you're like, cut that out. Yeah. But it's also nice because when you start a brand and when you already have one leg of it, it's way easier to start another leg than you're not starting from scratch anymore. Like you already did the from scratch, and now it's like, what else do I feel like I could just add to this?
Yeah, I think that's definitely
just keep going with it.
Yeah. So just kind of growing Vyvacious, and then maybe even growing other brands. And I mean, who knows? Maybe like down the line, I'll start doing like jobs where I'm working and like doing Vyvacious at nighttime type thing. I don't know. Who knows? That's kind of the fun of it, is that I'm just kind of taking it day by day, and it's really fun just watching it grow and just interacting with people literally all over the world. It's really crazy.
It can also grow with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's like wherever you go, because it's not a physical thing.
Right.
Like, it's like, it can evolve with
Totally.
you, like, wherever you're going in life, because you kind of already have the loyal customers and fan base, and they're around your age, too, to, like, if you're in this stage of your life now, they probably will be, too. So it's, like, being able to expand, but also still tailor to your audience.
Yeah. I literally get so many, like, DMs and stuff from girls, and it's, like, it literally is the most touching thing, because girls will just feel like they're almost, like, indebted to me, and they're like, I've been following you since you went to Alabama, or, like, I've been following you for a year, or however long, and they're like, it's so crazy to see how you've grown Vyvacious, and, like, how you've grown as a person, and it's so crazy to think that, like, people are watching, like, your every kind of move, and everything you put out there. People aren't really forgetting about it, so it's really fun that I don't know, like, it's not like everyone's job has, like, spectators type thing. So it's really, I don't know, it's so crazy. And girls, like, are rooting for me. You can really tell that, like, girls are just out of, like, they'll always just be like, oh my God, I'm, like, telling all these people about Vyvacious. Like, everyone always compliments me when I'm wearing my Vyvacious stuff. So it's, I don't know, it's so, like, it's fulfilling and rewarding. Just,
it's nice to know that what you're doing, just the quality of work that you're doing, both the quality of the clothes, the quality of your customer service, the quality of, she literally gets packages to people in, like, 24 hours.
Honestly, I'm trying to be like Amazon. I'm like, well, my thing is, like, it's my full-time job.
Yeah.
Why would I be waiting around to ship it, especially when the post office is, like, down the street? So it's it's like a fun goal for me. It's also a chance to leave my house, because if I'm working from home, there's multiple days where the only time I leave my house is to go to the post office. And I recently found out that when the postman comes, I can just give the packages to him. So it's a blessing and a curse.
You just found this out?
Well, I knew. I didn't just find this out.
Did you just find out how the United States Postal Service works?
I didn't not know that this was a thing. I actually always knew it was, but I thought it was, like, more of, like, you have to schedule it, and then, like, I don't really know.
Well, because you're sending out, like,
a lot of parcels
I didn't know. Things, not just, like, letters.
Right.
And also kind of, like, even when I was part-time working for you,
right.
Bringing that up, is one of my friends was going to drive him because he was about to drive down to Anaheim. And I was just like, one, he's a guy, and, like, he's really great, but I'm like, hey, what if we just went together? I'm like, I just want to know that these got inside the mail thing.
Thank you so much for being such a loyal.
I get that, like, you could give it to someone, but it's also, like, I just want to know that, like, I know that I put this in the post office, so that if something happens, like, we can deal with it there.
It's so true.
There's something about just knowing to make sure that that's the case. No. One thing, because you just said that you only leave your house sometimes to go to the post office, etc. And, like, it's also a benefit to have your business completely at your own home, but also does that kind of lend itself to, like, you can be working at 3 a.m. if you really wanted to, or at 8 a.m. if you, like, really wanted to.
I think there's, like, some type of quote. I'm definitely going to mess it up, but it's something about, like, people who, like, or, like, entrepreneurs start their own business because they don't want to work a 9 to 5, but then they'll work, like, way more hours than, like, 9 to 5 because of the fact that they just don't want to have that. So I'll wake up and I start answering DMs. Like, I'm immediately on Instagram answering messages, getting back to people, and then I'll, like, just start working, and I really will not stop. I'll even, like, get in bed at midnight or 1 in the morning, and I'll still be, like, on my phone, like, working on Vyvacious. So I feel like that working at home, like, there's no fine line between, like, clocking out or just hanging out at home or working. So I don't know, like, for me, that's not a negative at all. Like, it only makes me feel better.
The work that you're doing, and you have constant work and business.
And I feel like that's why Vyvacious has gotten to, like, the point that it's at, because I, like, put every little, like, I put, like, multiple hours a day into Vyvacious because I want to, and because it's what it requires. So yes, like, it definitely is interesting that, like, I work from home and my home is my office and there's no, like, clocking out, but I really would not have it done any other way, and it's kind of just, like, the fun of it.
I feel that, because even with this project, like, I still do have my 9 to 5 job, but, like, I will come home and until 3 a.m. I'll just work, and I don't... I'm hoping to transition to the point where it can become, like, my 9 to 5 hours, and then I can supplement the hours on either side if need be, instead of doing both. But at the same time, like, I don't even drink coffee, and I'm still just like, yep. Like, I'm enjoying the work that I'm doing, no matter how, like, tedious it is or, like, whatever, because it's going towards something that, like, I full-heartedly 100% believe in. Not saying that's not the case with my job, in case anyone is listening.
It's yours.
Yeah, like, the ownership. It's like, no one else is going to cover my bases.
Right.
Like, if I don't get this editing done, it's not going to magically happen. Or I can't hand it off to another coworker or supervisor. Like, it's just me. So it's just, the goals are so much clearer. Yeah. And it's like, I need to get this done by this date. And I feel like with you, it's like, you work pretty much all day, but you also, like, are enjoying what you're doing. It's growing your business continuously. Right. And it's also interactive, even though it's over social media. And it's also just, like, very goal-oriented. You have your schedule, you have your Wednesday, Friday, you have all your stuff, so it's just easy to, like, keep going.
Yeah, and just because they're, like, I don't have any employees or anything, and everything is pretty much tied to my name, I think that's, like, a huge motive for me to, like, make sure I'm getting everything done and, like, doing everything to, like, the best of its abilities, because at the end of the day, anytime something goes wrong, it falls back onto me, and it's, like, my name, my reputation, like, obviously, it's just an online boutique, nothing too serious. My reputation probably wouldn't be ruined.
It's your baby. I mean, it's like everything, you grew it from the ground up. Yeah.
And I'm not going to let, like, I just wouldn't want anyone to be able to say anything negative, so I just kind of do everything that I can to make sure that me and Vyvacious are, I don't know, like, all positive, I guess, a positive reputation. I don't know.
I know we kind of talked about this, how it's hard to give advice because it's so particular to you and the brand, but just kind of in general, not even someone starting an online boutique, but even someone just trying to really get into entrepreneurship. Because I think that, like, for our generation, it's a lot of people want to do it because we kind of grow up seeing the possibility of, like, you don't have to go directly into college to be successful. You don't have to, after college, do this track job to be successful. Like, it's like there are so many ways to do it. So, like, what kind of would your advice be to someone who wants to jumpstart something?
Honestly, I think that a huge thing is, like, making sure that you're not in it because you want to, like, not have to do something. Like, do it because it's what you want to do, not because, like, you want to get super rich or because you want, like, to do what you saw someone else doing. Like, do it because you love fashion or whatever it is that you want to start. Like, do it because it's, for me, like, fashion, it was always my thing. Like, I was already promoting other brands. It kind of just, like, seamlessly fit. But had I started it because I wanted to, like, get really rich or because I saw someone else start one that, like, was doing really well, I feel like it just wouldn't have gotten as far because it has to come from the heart. Like, super cheesy, but you can't really, like, start something without, like, the passion, I guess, being there. So I think definitely just making sure you're wanting to, like, start something that you're passionate about, and it's also will make it feel like it's not work. So definitely that, and just making sure you're, like, ready to stay committed and knowing that, like, the times where it's going to be slow and the times where it's not just going well or the things that you don't want to do. Like, obviously there's little things where I'm like, ugh, I wish someone else could do this for me, but that's kind of like it wouldn't make sense if every single thing was just, like, the best thing ever.
Yeah, or
easy,
like
the best thing ever.
Glamorous, or, like,
what
whatever.
you want to do. Yeah. So I think definitely just knowing that it's not going to be all, like, flowers and roses, like, just,
So many people have said the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that makes sense for anything. Like, no matter what you do, if you're doing it for the wrong intentions, obviously it's not going to, like, get as far as if you're doing it from, like, the heart.
And it's like, because people see the glamorous parts of this, but it's like, no, there's a lot of nitty gritty.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of, like, hole punching, there's, like, a lot of behind the scenes work, and unless you know that you're working over, like, towards your overarching goal, then that stuff gets even more difficult to do. Like, if you're like, oh, I have to do this to get me rich, it's like, no, that's not always going to be the case. It's like, you're not, like, just, like, rolling in money right now from this. Like, it's like, that's not the, like, goal, but you're able to support yourself doing what you love, which is, like, kind of the dream in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like,
I every day, like, I said in the beginning of this how every day I'm like, I can't believe this is my life, I have all this freedom, but I seriously every day I'm just, like, so incredibly happy that one, I'm, like, just doing something so fun and something that I love. Basically, just, it's seriously, every day I'm so thankful and I'm just so, I can't believe it. And I feel like that's how you know you're on the right track. And sometimes people ask me what else, like, what would you be doing if you didn't have Vyvacious? and I genuinely have no idea. So I think that's definitely kind of like the approval that I'm on the right track.
Good sign.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I would be doing this. It's like, no, like I'm doing like my dream right now.
Absolutely.
And my dream may evolve or my dream may change or whatever, but like as for the current moment, like this is it. And it's like hard to think of, if you don't have a second dream per se, it's hard to be like, oh yeah, this plan B that's like just not even on the same realm of this stuff.
So definitely feels good to be 23 and kind of just feeling like I'm on the right track. I don't know. Especially because when I was about to graduate college, and when I did graduate college, for a few months, like I started Vyvacious in December. I graduated in May. So like there was the whole summer and then into the winter was a lot of my dad just like drilling me about needing to get a job and me like not refusing, but being like, no, I'm starting an online boutique.
It was like trying to figure out like what you knew that there was something,
was the goal.
But there was like, I'm doing this, like, let me give it a shot. Yeah. And then if it doesn't work out, I will find something else.
And it's really funny because just like the spectrum of like the beginning of me telling my dad I want to start an online boutique, and obviously like adults just not knowing like the power of like social media and e-commerce and blah blah blah, but him just being like, a what? To now he FaceTimes me every single day and he's like, how are your sales doing? Like because I started it out of his house, so he is just like always asking me. He loves he's just like can't believe like what has grown from it.
Well, so. I mean probably also in such a short amount of time too, but even like with my siblings, like I'm editing an episode right now with them in it and my parents are in it, and it's like my parents were freaking out when my sister was wanting to quit her job. She'd be like, I want to write a book. And they're like, what are you doing?
We are very ambitious.
Yeah, like you have health insurance right now. Like, why are you giving that up? Or like my brother being like, I'm going to move to LA and Uber, but I'm going to be making music. And they're like, what are you doing? Like,
completely.
And it's like, and I get it because I was also like, what are you guys doing? But it's also when you believe in yourself and when you have a passion, because like the reason I wanted to start this project really is because I realized not everyone has a passion. And like that is fine, but it's like when you have one, it's a gift.
Absolutely.
And to not use it as a disservice to yourself and the community that you could be serviced. Like the amount of people that like the only new clothes I've had this year have been from Vyvacious. Like I literally don't shop. So it's like a service to me as well. Thank you so much. And so many other people. And it's because you had a passion and you're following it. So it's like I wanted to start this project because I was like, how can I help people either listen to people who are around our age doing something that they love? How can I inspire people to either ignite what they love or start what they already know they love and like stop being scared of the failure or the disappointments or the cyclical, like the instability that comes with doing something like this. But at the same time, if you're passionate about it, you'll keep brainstorming ways to make it work. Absolutely. Like you'll figure it out because you want it more than anything.
And it could have, like Vyvacious worked out for me because I already had a following, so I kind of knew my demand was there. But like, had I not had the demand, it's not like I would have given up. Like I would have just done what I could to like grow the demand. So yeah, you can't give up. And
wherever you start from, you still go
exactly. Yeah,
that's just kind of how it goes.
Definitely.
So we're at the time of the show where we go into the bonus questions. Great. These are just some quick little dillies that I draw up just to hear some kind of fun things that maybe didn't come up during our conversation.
Okay.
What is your favorite type of cheese?
Holy crap. Did you know I love cheese so much?
No. I literally have 80 questions and I pick a random one.
Oh my gosh, my boyfriend's best friend calls me the cheese queen.
We have the cheese. Why are we talking about Vyvacious? We have the cheese queen.
No, it's because honestly, I feel like my snack of choice is like a cheese board or like cheese and crackers. I just love it. So I definitely like a lot of cheeses. I kind of just like a basic like sharp cheddar.
It's my favorite, honestly.
There's this one that's like herb and something, and it's kind of like a soft cheese. I don't really know the name of it.
But it's good.
Hilarious you asked that.
What is a country you really want to visit?
Geez. I mean, I've been to like Europe, but like I feel like I have not done a lot of like world traveling. I love just warm weather, so I mean, I think anywhere tropical or like I think it would be really fun to go to like Bali or something.
Oh yeah,
that would be awesome.
I totally agree. I always see like videos on Twitter of like Bora Bora.
Oh yeah, all
and
those videos where they're in the hotel room, when they open the door, there's like a water,
and it's like you have like your own like hut in the middle of like the ocean, or like I think the Kardashians went there when Kim lost her diamond earring or something.
Oh yeah,
I was also like, I really want to.
I would love to just travel the whole world.
Last question. Do you stand up when the plane lands? Like, are you the person that stands up in the middle of the aisle?
Hell no.
Okay, amazing.
You would have deleted this whole thing if I said yes.
This is like the question I asked to say if I'm going to air the episode.
I just don't really understand that, and it just drives me crazy because obviously I feel like everyone that says no obviously has the same point, is that like you can't get off any faster than like the person next to you. Mm-hmm. So just stay seated, please. People are just so antsy. I get antsy, but like I'm gonna sit until I have my chance to get out. Until the row before you leave, and we all have our own time. Yeah, that bothers me a lot.
I'm glad I was able to ask you questions that you were really passionate about.
Those are funny random questions.
I got them. I'm excited about them. So thank you, MacLaine, for coming on. It doesn't happen overnight. For everyone listening and watching, thank you. Please come back next week for another episode, but also the next couple of days because I'm always releasing new videos. Thank you guys. Bye.
Follow Vyvacious.
Follow at Vyvacious.
Yeah, she'll probably link my social media.
Maybe if you're lucky.
Bye. Yeah, I'll just throw it out.